Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from your art sins. Welcome back to another art video. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of a sketchbook tour, while at the same time kind of explaining my approach to how I come up with ideas for backgrounds and environments. So the reason that I decided to do this video, and it's going to be really short, is that I wanted to remember the process that I'm currently using, so that way when I come back to remember how I approach this kind of design work, I can even use this as a refresher as for myself as well. So this is a video for you guys and myself, my future self, so that I can come back and look at it. So let's go ahead and get started with it. Alright, so this sketchbook is maybe a quarter of the way done. There's not that much stuff in it, but I'm just going to flip through a few pages and we're going to kind of discuss just like some things that I'm thinking about as I'm going through and creating these compositions. So this first page right here, I'm going to start with this one because I do want to explain that when creating compositions and creating thumbnails for your work, it takes a lot of mental energy, especially when you're coming up with things from your imagination. So what I usually do to get used to my medium and what kind of design work I'm doing is that I'll do studies. So I'll draw objects, and some from my imagination, like this little TV box is from imagination, but I'll go through and pretty much just try to find some objects that I think kind of represent the design elements that I want to incorporate into my own drawings and my own imagination. So down here I drew a stadium scene, and this is from the movie Speed Racer. I just went to the movie and took a screenshot of a couple locations I thought were interesting, and then I practiced drawing them. So there's the first tip for you guys, is that if you're having trouble coming up with something and you need to kickstart your imagination, go to your favorite movie and pause it at, times where, you feel inspired or you really like the background, and then try sketching from that, and that will kind of get your gears spinning and turning. Okay, so let me jump to a page that has a little bit more of work that I did from my imagination. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And I want to focus in at this bottom picture right here. So this bottom picture was from my imagination, and I just want to explain kind of the process for it and how I came up with this picture. So first, what I did actually for this one is that I wanted, this scene to be in a city. So I looked up a city picture online, a composition that I kind of liked, and I used that as a reference. And maybe I'll show the reference on screen in editing, maybe I won't, but I changed all of it, even the composition from the reference, but it was a starting point just to get my brain working. Okay, so what I usually do with a piece like this is that I will kind of go through and just block out big shapes. So I'll block out, say, this building in this background, I'll block out this building in the foreground, and I won't add any details yet. Same thing with the buildings in the background here that are shaded. Okay, so I have these big blocks of form, and that form is basically guiding the composition. Okay, so that's kind of my first layer that I go through. And then the second layer is I start thinking about a lighting and a lighting path. So for this picture in specific, I'm thinking the light is coming from here, from the left, coming down and into the page. So basically, if it's going like that, then it's hitting the front of this building, and it would hit the front of this building as well, but we were only seeing the backside, so that's why this is in shade. And then I noticed that the light will kind of spill down here in the picture, right? And this building is going to cause a cast shadow. And the reason that I chose that lighting is because I think it help this composition read better. So I kind of like to frame my compositions. I like to have my foreground elements to the left or the right of the page, or sometimes both sides. So that will kind of help guide the reader into the page. And so basically the interest kind of starts up here, kind of goes down to this building and goes in to the scene. Okay, so after I've got the lighting and I've got the composition set, now it's time for all these, details in this picture. And when I'm going from my imagination, I try to pull as many shapes as I can from my imagination, but I'm also remembering all the practices and studies I've done before of architecture and just different products of the era to kind of help guide me as I'm putting lines down. And for a composition like this takes me about 10 to 15 minutes in total. And this is really good for just getting the idea down onto paper. Okay, so pretty much that's it for, the tutorial side of things. I will flip through just a few more pages just to show you guys and show you guys what I like so far about this notebook. Again, it's not complete. So here to the left is a study that I did from a Pinterest image, and I really like the composition in this. I liked how the whale here was kind of up and above, and it really sells the sense of scale. You really get to see how big this whale is because we have a character and a flamingo animal in the foreground. So I did this study specifically to study scale. And so a tip for you guys when you're coming up with composition is that you should find pictures and study specific things in a picture. So for this picture specifically, I studied how to represent scale really well. Okay, this picture right here was from another picture I found on Pinterest. Just really cool design language. And this picture up here is from a book. I think it's called like Color and Light Theories, something like that. It's a really cool book. I'll try to link it down below. So this is probably my favorite page so far in my sketchbook. Up in the upper right is from reference, and down here in the lower left is completely from imagination. And so I like to do a study first and then my imagination second, because the study gives me the confidence that I can draw, and then the study allows me to pull from my imagination while still having that confidence to be able to draw. These top two are from references, and I'm just studying design, shape, and language. I also really like this computer thing that I found over here to the left. I think it looked really cool. Here's just another page, and I'm just gonna kind of flip through now till we get to the end. I really like how my two favorite ones, or actually three favorite ones, are this fountain down here. I like how I represented that in gray and white. I like this one. This one's from imagination, and I like the lighting for this one. I think the shadows down here casted by the stools is really cool. And then I was on vacation and I drew this from the balcony of the apartment that I was staying at. So I really like this one as well. Okay. This is from Mega Man Zero. Of course, if you follow me, you know I'm a fan of Mega Man, so no surprise there. These two are studies from Scott Robertson. He's a really good vehicle designer, and he had a little section on how to draw thumbnails in his book, and so I kind of just was practicing from him. These pictures are from vacation. This was a really quick sketch that I did in about like 5 to 10 minutes, and I was sitting on the edge of this cliff, and so I just went to draw what I saw in front of me. So that was really cool. That was fun to draw. Okay, and then here's what I did. I just did these two, actually all three of these on the left last night, but I really like this bottom one and I really like this top one, and both of those are from imagination, so I can tell that I'm getting better and better at composing. Here's just a fun page. I was just working on an original character for One Piece, and I had this character idea that he would basically use sound and music to kind of express himself and his emotions because he is a mute character, but you can also see Zoro and Garp in here as well. And then some more character exploration and studies from One Piece. And then this one, I really like this one. It's again of that mute character that's going to use music to talk pretty much. And yeah, by hitting things with his hands or with his drumsticks, he'll be able to produce sound, and use that sound to fight, use that sound to talk and to emote and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. And then here's the last page that I have for right now, and it's more thumbnails. And so basically I'm using this sketchbook right now as a means to study and to get my style down a little bit. And I'm going to take some of these compositions and actually render them out more and add color. So I'm going to go in digitally and kind of explain how I'll do that process. However, that video is going to come in the future. I'm not sure exactly when I am going to do it, but this is going to be a series of videos. And I meant to get to background stuff after I finished the human body, but there was a lot of concepts that I had in my mind that I wanted to at least initially try to draw out, so that way when I get better at rendering backgrounds, I can come to these ideas and these concepts and I can flesh them out because I'll have the skills by then. So I just want to go ahead and record this video before I forget my process and the work that I'm doing right now. Hopefully you guys like seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes of the just sketches and unpolished work. I know I personally love watching sketchbook tours and just understanding how artists kind of think and what their thought process is and what their art process is. So if you like this content, definitely let me know down below, because I can make more sketchbook tour type videos in the future. So again, thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, peace and love.